In the cookie-cutter sprawl of Willow Creek, where every lawn was clipped to a precise 2.5 inches and mailboxes sported identical daisy decals, Grandpa Hank wasn't about to let some pencil pusher named Trevor walk off with his tools. I didn't serve VYV, a war, a divorce, and a squirrel invasion in my attic just to get robbed by a guy in khakis, Hank grumbled, rigging up a nail gun from rusty pipes and duct tape. Across the yard, a white van sat smugly in front of his house, loaded with his family's tool screwdrivers that built his granddaughter Lily's treehouse, wrenches that fixed her son Max's skateboard, gift from his wife before she left him for a yoga instructor. That van wasn't just holding tools, it was holding memories. Hank wiped grease off his hands and muttered, "Time to even the score." It was a typical morning in Willow Creek, birds chirping like they were on the HOA's payroll. Hank sipped cold coffee on the porch, watching his daughter, Sarah, argue barefoot in sweatpants with Trevor, a slick HOA enforcer in a baby blue polo. "You can't just take our stuff," Sarah yelled. Trevor, hiding behind mirrored sunglasses, smirked. "Bylaws say yard tools must be stored out of sight. Your shed's non-compliant." Sarah's voice cracked. "You broke the lock." Trevor tapped his tablet like he was VYing commandments. "That's another violation." Max, Sarah's 15-year-old, shuffled out with a cereal bowl, spotting the shed's busted door. "Mom, where's my bike wrench?" Hank answered, "In their van, along with my patience." Something snapped, not loud, not angry, but quiet and dangerous, like a gunslinger's nod before a duel. Hank marched to the garage, plotting not just revenge, but justice, the kind that doesn't bother with lawyers. It calls for hammers. Sarah had moved back to Hank's place after her divorce, raising Max while freelancing as a web designer and dodging HOA fines. Hank, once a firebrand, had softened with age, but never forgot how to take a machine apart or a system. To him, the HOA was a rusty engine begging to be scrapped. By noon, he'd rallied the neighborhood's oddballs. Martha, who once jammed radio signals with tinfoil and forks. Leo, a retired clown with a rap sheet and a love for chaos. And Victor, an ex-HOA president ousted for VYing neon flamingos. "We're not breaking laws," Hank told them, sketching a plan on a napkin. "We're restoring balance." Max grinned. "Like Robin Hood?" Hank winked. "More like Robin Hood's pissed-off grandpa." The plan was simple but wild. The HOA van patrolled daily, nitpicking everything from wind chimes to rock gardens. They'd wait for Trevor's crew to step out, then trap them inside their own van. That night, Hank and Max turned the garage into a mad scientist's lab, nails, hinges, a lock rig from an old door motor. Hank even slathered the handles with adhesive so sticky it could trap a bear. It was half Home Alone, half VY Gilani fever dream, and definitely not legal, which made it feel right. At 7:03 a.m., the van rolled in. Trevor and his two lackeys stepped out to fuss over a neighbor's pebbles. Hank gave Max the signal. Martha's signal jammer killed their phones. Leo, inexplicably in a clown suit, distracted them with balloon swords. Hank slid from under the van, hammer in one hand, rivet gun in the other. Before Trevor could blink, the doors slammed shut, sealed tight. "What the hell?" Trevor pounded the glass from inside. Hank tapped the nail against the van, slow and steady. "Funny thing about rules," he said. "They cut both ways." The van shook as the men panicked. One tried the ignition, now zip-tied useless. Another found a juice bottle labeled, "Expires in 10 minutes." Nobody dared touch it. Word spread fast. Neighbors dragged out lawn chairs, someone fired up a grill, and kids sold lemonade with a sign. "Free if you hate the HOA." Hank sat like a king, hammer across his lap, GIVYing a mock lecture on tool safety. "Always respect your wrench," he said, as Trevor banged the window. Sarah, still in pajamas, sighed. "This is nuts, Dad." Hank grinned. "No, honey. Stealing our tools was nuts. This is therapy." Cops showed up, barely hiding their smirks. They heard both sides, issued Hank a citation for unpermitted art installation. But Trevor wouldn't admit to theft. "We were collecting them," he stammered. The officer raised an eyebrow. "So you had them?" Trevor clammed up. Hank hadn't just trapped them. He'd outsmarted them with their own rules. That evening, As the van sat abandoned, Max asked, "What now?" Hank lit a cedar twig like a cigar. "Now we start a real neighborhood watch with tools." But the HOA wasn't done. A week later, a letter arrived, crisp and venomous. A new rule, Section 7B, demanded inspections for residents over 70 for mental soundness. It was a direct shot at Hank, threatening to boot him from his own home. Sarah waved the paper like a war flag. "They're trying to exile you." Hank didn't look up from his crossword. "They'll need a crane and a better excuse." Max read it, baffled. Mental soundness? That's not even a thing. Hank smirked. Means Trevor's scared. Cowards hide behind paperwork. The garage became their war room. Martha pinned blurry photos to a corkboard. Leo offered a fob machine for ambience. Sarah, fed up, decided to run for HOA president to gut the system from within. What started as a joke snowballed into a movement. Lawn signs sprouted. Sarah for president. Freedom isn't a violation. Max's parody VY Diaz mocking Trevor's obsession with mailbox symmetry went VY-RAL. Victor dug up old HOA files, revealing shady budgets and fake shrub studies costing thousands. Martha hacked their server, uncovering emails of Trevor plotting to rewrite the charter once Hank was gone. Sarah held potlucks, listening to neighbors' gripes. Hank fixed fences and painted mailboxes in band colors, grinning like a rebel. Then Max, researching for a school project, found a server folder labeled Special Collections. It showed the HOA cherry-picking enforcement friends got warnings, others got fines. It was a mafia in polos. They leaked it to a local reporter. The headline, "HOA or mob," blew up online. Muffins appeared at Hank's door. Trevor, cornered, called an emergency meeting, crying on camera about harassment. Then he tried to cancel the election, claiming elder interference. Big mistake. At the hearing, Sarah laid out the evidence emails, audits, fraud. Trevor's lawyer sweated buckets. The judge banged her gavel, and the election was on. Election day felt like a rock concert. Neighbors wore Sarah's shirts. No lawns without justice. Max filmed the documentary, wiring Hank with a mic. Trevor, sweating through his pink shirt, greeted voters with a limp "keep the peace." Sarah, in jeans and a tee reading "My Dad Nailed the Van," shook his hand. "Let's keep it fair." Trevor muttered, "Let's keep it legal." Hank's eyes narrowed. The debate was a bloodbath. Sarah was calm, citing real grievances. Trevor rambled about termites, accused Hank of leading a wrench militia, and kicked a gnome prop, shattering it. The crowd gasped. Someone yelled, "You're done, Trevor." Votes poured in. Leo's confetti cannon fired early, and a dove pooped on Trevor's car. The librarian moderator read the results. Sarah wins, 83 fan tram. The room roared. Trevor tripped on his way out, never to return. That night, neighbors brought casseroles. Hank sat quietly, accepting nods like a general. Sarah whispered, "I didn't think I could do it." Hank replied, "You didn't. We did." Max's VY Deo, ending with Hank's line, "Push people too far. They push back with a nail gun," hit millions of VYUs. Sarah spoke at council statewide. Max won a film contest. Hank bought the impounded van for Dulaw 20, painted "Nailed It" on it, and parked it like a trophy. Rumors swirled it roamed other suburbs, fixing fences and Leah VYing "Nailed It" signs after HOA crackdowns. Online, they called him Grandpa Vengeance. Weeks later, Willow Creek buzzed with new life. Sarah launched a tool library and garden. The shed, rebuilt with neighbors' help, became the Freedom Depot. Hank sat on the porch, sipping tea with Sarah. "Feels good," she said. He nodded. "Don't get comfy. Peace is just the gap before the next fight." A lawnmower hummed. Kids laughed. Hank smiled. He'd won with nails, grit, and a truth. No rule outweighs people. What do you think? Did Hank go too far? Or was his rebellion justified? Should neighbors take justice into their own hands? Or is it a recipe for chaos? Drop your thoughts below. Hit that like button if you're Team Hank. And subscribe for more stories that'll make you cheer, gasp, and maybe grab a hammer yourself.